Hey everyone, welcome to Everything You Can Do in The Witcher 1. With all done in the last episode, we will continue with Chapter 3. The first task that Geralt needs to do is to find the blue-eyed lass from the Blue Eyes quest. The destination is the House of the Night, near the gate that can lead you to the temple quarter. Upon entering the house, you can see a blonde girl in a blue dress, which matches the description of Patrick the Ways. Talk with her and she will have the normal dialogue of a courtesan, wanting to practice some foreplay with the Witcher. You can inquire about her family, and she is convinced that she does not have any family.
I think your brother may be looking for you.
What? No! I have no family.
You sure?
Entirely. This is my home. My Sisters of the Night.
I must be mistaken.
You can either go talk with Patrick again, or can request a moment of foreplay for 500 orens. You can lower the price to 300 orens if you want so, and by having fun with her, you can get the 5th romance card of the chapter and 14th overall in the game. The journal entries updates, informing the player that the blue-eyed lass does have fang marks on her neck, which indicates that this girl is the one that we seek. If we go back to the inn, we can inform Patrick about Geralt's findings. Now we need to find out if someone is controlling the blue-eyed girl. Shifting the gears, we can wait for 8 PM to listen to Dana Lyon's concert in the inn. We get to see our favorite bard play some tunes with a fair amount of audience. Being 8 PM, it means we can go to the party that we were invited to. There are a lot of people, and going to the ballroom you can find some important characters. Triss proceeds to show Geralt around while he gets acquainted with every notable guest. In the corner of the ballroom you will find Taller, and he is serving as a companion of Erkin Blunt, a mute knight. Next to them you have Valorat, King Folther's right hand. Next to the table you'll find Princess Ada and Roderick the Wet. Be nice to Ada so you can progress into the storyline. After everything is done, Triss would go talk with Leuvaarden about some stuff and leave you off to search around. Go to the entrance room and then the bedroom. There you'll find a chest with some orens, food, drinks, the book Foreign Lands, and a mysterious note. A guest will then come to the room and be suspicious what Geralt is doing in the bedroom. The better option is to go along and say that you were either looking for the bathroom or were looking for some better drinks. To get him out of your back, you need to complete a drinking challenge with 3 portions of strong alcohol. To make things easier, have some wives' tears, so you can get sober in an instant. You can go to Taller and talk with him. He foreshadows a little bit about the ongoings of the game, telling us that at some point we need to choose between 2 factions. You can ask about everything such as who is really the Wet and why is he here, believing he has some ulterior motives. Taller does have some suspicions about Leuvaarden and his guild of merchants and wealthy personnel. We get to know a little bit more about Taller, and we know that he's more than a fence. He's a part of the Temerian intelligence. He asks Geralt about his motives around the hunt for the Salamandra, and he's open to the choice about his own motives. I went for the personal and ideological matters. Because of everything that has happened, Geralt wants to find the Witcher's secrets and wants revenge because of Leo and the many wrongs they did throughout the events of the game until now. This clarifies Geralt's identity a little bit.
They robbed me and killed a friend. They're criminal, evil. Salamandra upsets the balance. As a Witcher, I can't ignore that.
Got it. Thank you for being candid.
Talk with Erkin. It will be strange to have a drinking challenge with him, but if you indulge in the challenge, and if you have 5 portions of medium alcohol, you will loosen his lips a little bit.
Curses. I'm drunk.
He speaks.
I broke my vow. I swore on a heron.
A heron?
Nonsense. Tala hired me to come incognito to the feast.
You blew it.
No scene, please. This ring will get you in the House of the Night. Half price.
It will give you the House of the Night signet ring, which will be useful later. Then head over to Ada to talk about the similarities between sex and politics.
I'm impressed by the comparison. Have you ever tried your hand at the fine arts, Your Highness?
I'm forced to study all kinds of nonsense, but books bore me, as does poetry for the most part.
I agree. Books are for bores.
Never mind. Back to our lovers ambulating about the room. You see, Witcher, politics is not unlike a tryst. It begins with foreplay, glances, conversations, Behold that witch with Leuvaarden. Now look to our noble Erkin and the courtiers. The dance grows bolder, fondling and such. Then one is consumed by the desire to come together roughly, like animals. Finally, one is left with sad, passionless copulation. Velerad and Duet, for instance.
Excuse me, Your Highness. Sore throat.
We are adults, Geralt. We both know the desires of men.
You may be right, Your Highness. Power, sex, power, they both come down to one thing. Fucking others. May I ask you a question?
Go on.
What is the king's stance on this topic? I mean politics, of course.
Ugh, dull? I have grown hungry, and there is naught worth eating at this feast. I tire of partridge tongues and caviar. What do I most desire? I have it. I will answer your ever so dull question if you bring me what I most desire.
Ada will then ask Geralt to get what she most desires to eat. Comply with said requests. You should talk with Velerad because he's the king right hand, and he knows a fair bit about her preferred tastes. But first, he requests some strong alcohol. After warming Velerad's belly, he will tell you that since Ada was transformed from a Strega, she longs for raw meat, and that Talar asks for his men to scour the land for such meat. Talking with Talar about this subject, he will then tell you that he has aimed to find a rare meat for the princess, but requests Geralt to get a special letter from the other room. Luckily enough, we already did get out of the way, and got to know the meat as soon as possible. Catoblepa's meat is the precious meat that we require, so we go to Trist for her to conjure some Catoblepa's rare steak for the princess. Geralt heads over to Ada to give her the meat as she likes, and she invites Geralt to her room to talk politics. Following her, she is more interested in the other side of politics, the more carnal one, and complying with her grants the 6th romance card of the chapter and the 15th in the game. After some politics, Triss gives us the heads up that Geralt should talk with Leuvaarden about some plans. Talking with him, Leuvaarden wants to team up again so they can bleed the Salamandra from the inside by destroying their new camps in the swamp and the temple quarter. He gives you the formula for the White Rafford's decoction, and this starts lock and key, following the thread, reaping time, and finishes a post-reception. With all things said and done, we can get out of the inn. However, there's a conflict of interest between two parties. You need to choose between siding with Talar and Roderick the Wet. Obviously, there's much more than meets the eye, and we'll find later in the game about Roderick's the Wet true intentions. So I decided to side with Talar because, being the head of the Temerian intelligence, he seems to be more honest and straight to the point than some other people. Going back to the inn, Talar will explain his reasons. There's a traitor amidst the royal court that is passing fake royal edicts, and because Talar has been replaced by King Foltest as the safekeeper of Azima, he is investigating this whole process and does not trust some of the order folks. With all this done, rest a little bit. After a post-reception is finished, another quest will trigger right away, and you'll know it when a kid approaches you saying that Vivaldi's bank is being robbed and Velerad asks for Geralt's help. This starts Gold Rush. If you head over to the area near the market and the town hall, you'll see Velerad, and by talking to him, you will say that some Scoia'tael warriors have hijacked the bank. You get to choose between starting with the Order and the Scoia'tael again, so like I did previously, I will side with the Order on this one. You can choose to be neutral, of course, but the game forces you to choose between the two factions, and if you don't choose at all, they will always make the Order win. And for now, I believe that this can wait, because Geralt needs to do with the Salamandra camps. Going to the swamp, go straight to the Brickmaker's village, where you need to talk with Vaska, so she can inform you about the locations of the Salamandra camps. She also says that their leader, Roland Blenheim, needs to be killed for every bit of cruelty that he has done to the swamp people. They are located in 3 areas: near the Collapsed Tower, in the Lumberjack Glade, and in the Swamp Cave. Near the Collapsed Tower, you can find the first group. If you have your group still leveled up, you can make quick work of them. After dealing with them, talk with the workers so they can go home. Near the Collapsed Tower, you can find Wyvern Island, with a new species of wyverns, the Royal Wyvern, a much stronger species, and walking around leading the group, there is Moa, the last monster that is needed to be collected. One tip is to lure one wyvern after the other so it can be a fair fight and by doing so, you don't get to lose much health. When you are confident enough, go fight Moa. If it's one-on-one, this is an easy fight, if you time your sense correctly. Get Moa's head and you start the predatory wyvern. The next spot Geralt needs to hit is the Lumberjack Glade. There you will find some Salamandra bandits, deal with them and talk with the workers. The last spot is in a cave, and upon entering, you will find the last group of the Salamandra bandits. Defeat them, and in the audience of workers, you will find a kid. This is the last kid that we needed to find in the last chapter, the one from the Lost Lamp quest. He wasn't kidnapped, but for sure just didn't know his way home. Before exiting the cave, be sure to explore a little bit more, because this cave is filled with cockatrices and we require 5 cockatrices feathers for a contract. If you have enough, don't leave yet, because this cave does have a special type of mushroom, the psilocybe mushroom, which will be very useful shortly. With all this done, we can head out. Make a beeline to the Brickmaker's village and talk with Vaska. Since you dealt with the Brickmaker situation and found a missing child, you can hand over everything. She will be thankful for everything you have done and reward you with the book Hymns of Madness and Despair. Vaska also adds that if Geralt wants to get rid of the Salamandra in the swamp, the best course of action is to talk with the Hierophants in the Druid's Grove. With all this, we finish a Lost Lamp and Reaping Time, and start diplomacy and hunting. Going to the grove, you'll find a Hierophant and talk with him. He requests Geralt to find some Psycholide mushrooms. Luckily enough, we already have that, so we only need to wait a little bit. The Hierophant will be ready for battle, and you will bring a wyvern to aid us. The battleground is in the Lumberjack Glade, and when you are prepared, we can start the fight. This will be a very difficult fight because they are a dozen if not more, and we are only 3. So one trick is to kill first the Kikimora warriors because they inflict more damage and are tankier. Use Igni and Strong Silver to get rid of them with ease. Then switch to Group Steel to get rid of the Salamandra. Roland Blenheim is leading the attack with the Salamandra, so we get revenge for the Brickmakers. Looting Roland, he does have the formula for Werewolf Threat, a royal letter of safe conduct, and the item we did the most, an encrypted document. Now we need to give our gratitude to the Hierophant, finishing the quest. If you want more experience, you can always get through a Fort Eden camp near the Brickmakers village. There are a dozen or so bandits. This can be very hard for some players, but if you group them and use Igni, with Group Steel, they can be defeated. During nighttime, there's a chance that some archspores spawn near this area or near the cave, and if you defeat at least 3 of them and collect the juice, you'll have the required amount to complete the contract. There's one thing left to do in the swamp, but that will be done later. For faster travel, go to the Mage's Tower and use the teleporter to the trade quarter. Go directly to the Royal Huntsman to give him Moa's head to complete the final trophy quest of the chapter. Shifting gears, we will head to the bank and aid Siegfried. You can try to negotiate, but he won't lead anywhere. You need to fight whether you like it or not. I'm not gonna lie to you. This can be a very difficult fight. I died several times at various moments of the quest because they can easily outnumber us, so I used everything. My only salvation was using the Blizzard Potion, so everything was slowed down and Geralt's reflexes were a lot sharper. Story-wise, this comes back to the first chapter. We rejected the Scoia'tael warriors to get the merchandise from Ehrenbog. In chapter 2, the Scoia'tael requested some funds from Vivaldi and he rejected it. And in this chapter, Geralt helped the Scoia'tael with some problems in the Elven Ruin near the sewers. If you paid attention and if you are following along with your own playthrough, we can connect the dots that the Scoia'tael do not have many funds regarding money and better equipment, so they always try to request help from others. The Elven Ruins are connected in a way, shape or form to Vivaldi's bank, so when Yavin told Geralt to forget about what happened, he already had this plan in mind. He played Geralt like a fiddle. With this explanation out of the way, we aid Siegfried to stop the robbery, and after that, we need to inform Velrad about what happened, finishing the quest. If you have been following along, you will probably have all the required ingredients to complete most of the contracts. So we will head over to the guardhouse to talk with Velrad once again and complete everything right away. There are 4 contracts and you'll need 10 Kikimora claws, 5 Graveir bones, 12 vials of ghoul's blood and 3 flatter fangs. With this, we finish the Kikimora, Graveir, ghoul and flatter contracts. Valorant is also a professional player of dice poker, so you can challenge him. The RNG for this match was a little bit hard, but doable. If you don't want to lose a lot of money, save before every match, and if you lose, you can reload and try again. Going upstairs, you can get to talk with Roderick the Wet, and surely enough, he is another professional dice poker player. The RNG for this match was hard as well, but doable once again. By defeating these two players, we finished the quest. Dice Poker, the professional. This is it for today. I said in my last video that we will complete everything in this episode, but due to time constraints and life happening, I could only afford this part. I already have the final part recorded, so I will work straight away to not miss any more uploads. My name is Wedoo, this is everything you can do in The Witcher 1, and see you guys next time. Bye bye!